Welcome to Podcast on Infinite Earths, an unofficial DC Studios podcast. I'm your host, Tyson.
And I'm your host, Porter.
And we're writers, editors, and part-time filmmakers who love superheroes. Alrighty, this week we are going to be breaking down Peacemaker Episode 6. We're kind of getting into the tail end of this kind of exciting multi-dimensional arc. Porter, what were your thoughts?
Really big episode with a lot of reveals.
Yeah.
And out of the blue, my wife not only predicted the end of this episode like weeks ago, but also predicted a huge reveal in this episode like before it happened. She was like, oh yeah, I bet that'd be cool if this happened. And then like not even 10 minutes later it happened. Yeah, dude, she's crazy. But no, it was good. The episode starts off with Peacemaker just hanging out in the, celebrating that they defeated a kaiju, and they're
all just eating lunch covered in guts.
And these kids want to take a picture, and they take a picture, and it holds on it for like a long time. Because like the intro music started, right? And you usually have about like 10 seconds before they hit like the actual dance sequence. Mm-hmm. And it started like when the photo came up, and I was like, are they just going to hold on this for 10 seconds? But no, it like droops all weird.
They really went for like a literal face melter kind of look.
Yeah. And
I still don't know what that's about.
I don't either. I wonder if it's just a symbolic thing, which could work for sure.
I'm just like, this can't last or something like that.
Or do you think that the picture like is freaking out because Chris isn't from this universe?
Whoa. That would be interesting and kind of fun that like the universe is kind of reacting to him akin to like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Right. Yeah, who knows? I guess maybe we'll see. But I'm okay with it being like a symbolic thing of...
Yeah, I'm just curious if that would have a tie-in, because both of us were like, what was that?
Yeah. Kind of weird. But okay, also before I forget, a thought just came into my head. We don't get an answer to whether Judo Master knew the code to the door or not.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
we never saw him.
Yeah, he walks into the in-between space, and then we don't see him at all this episode. So next episode maybe we'll get a better answer, but I remember that was a question we had last episode.
Yeah,
and I was ready for it.
I completely forgot about him.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, there is not a trace, not a single Cheeto dusted fingerprint.
No.
Yeah, so we get kind of this strange intro, and they move us directly into kind of the B plot where the old gang is trying to figure out how to set up this portal. And they choose Vigilante's house, of all places.
Genius idea.
Fantastic. And we finally meet the mother of Adrian.
Yeah, it was such a funny moment, but kind of sad for the mom, where like she's a genuinely nice person, and Adrian just like brushes her off.
He's like a teenage boy, right?
Totally.
Like, Mom!
Yeah, literally same energy.
And we find out that he has some strange fantasies about being with hardcore.
Oh yeah, and the mom totally outs him. Oh my gosh.
Him losing his mind. He has a very like goofy and like over the top way of acting, and I think that played very well in this scene. Like as that character, it was well done.
Definitely.
And we get the reveal about what Vigilante does with all the stuff that he confiscates. Bro's literally running a drug den.
Yeah, he has this crazy stockpile, because when he opened the door, we were both like, that literally looks like a drug pen. And then he says, oh yeah, that's where I keep all the stuff I confiscate. We're like, oh, that's wild. Okay.
My favorite bit, we've kind of lost some of like the funny gang dynamics. Things have gotten a bit more somber in this season. So I love when they have extra goofy moments. Like the whole conversation about the spiders.
Oh yeah.
But the best part in this episode was when they're like, Adebayo calls out Adrian. She's like, you told me last week you were too broke to buy breakfast and had me cover your bill. And he's like, I wouldn't use that. That's blood money. And he like bends down to be putting on his clothes because he's dressing up in his outfit. And they're all like, yeah, blood money. And they all just start stuffing bills into their jacket.
No, it was a good bit. I felt like the humor of like the entire gang was kind of back for this episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not that it was like sorely lacking. It was just
It definitely took a heavier tone at times because there are just some really heavy topics that they're broaching about, like Chris's place in the world and their dynamic as a gang. Harcourt's in a really hard place.
Right. Well, and I wonder if it's just because we haven't really seen them all together on a mission this season. Like we've saw them hanging out, but
you're so right. Like on a
yeah.
mission, they really play well off each other.
Yeah. Maybe that's, yeah. It was good to see that again though.
Yeah.
But they get in the drug den, they decide to do the portal and they get it like first try.
I really thought it was going to take the way they like built it up last episode was like, we're not even sure how it works. It like sort of maybe will happen like this. And I was hoping for maybe some trial and error, but boom.
How do you feel about that? Like, do you feel like there should have been more to it?
I guess you could call it lazy writing, but also, I mean, there isn't a whole lot that would be added to the story by them like trying and failing, because obviously they're gonna like get it. That seems like a natural course. I guess they possibly couldn't have gotten it, and that could have been a thing, but that's not where they wanted to take it. So the fact that they were eventually going to get in, I don't think it matters incredibly.
Right, kind of like the in-between, like the fluff in between would not service the story.
Right, it's kind of like how in the 60s they used to, like film, the person is going to like go to his friend's house, so he would like get in his car and they would show him driving in his car and then show him getting out of the car and knocking on the door. And in modern day movies, they're just like, all right, I'm headed to Jimmy's. And then it's like, cut to Jimmy's. Yeah. And that was like novel, right? So I feel like maybe that's just a portion of that where, just fluff. That's a great word for it. And speaking of fluff, the door does its little explodey thing and the cocaine. I was so stressed out during that scene because I was like neatly stacked money and drugs. What's going to happen? And they just got a nice little dusting of cocaine.
It was a good planting too, because it was funny, but it does come into play later. So I like the little double use of that.
Totally. And we start to get, once again, Vigilante being crazy excited about finding himself.
Right. And Adebayo's like, you were crying about Peacemaker, but it seems like the only thing you care about is fighting this other you. And he's like, I wasn't crying. Like, just,
I was hugging you. You were crying. Look, a baby.
It's total dork. Like you said, teenager.
Yeah. Still like one of my favorite characters. Vigilante's so much fun. So yeah, the gang like makes it into the universe pretty easily, right? Opens the door like right away. Vigilante knows the code. They know the hint about the Peacemaker helmets, so they're like in there. And Keith sees them almost immediately and almost catches them.
Yeah, luckily in this universe, Harcourt would have a reason to be there.
Right.
Albeit this one's kind of strung together and it doesn't quite make sense, but it's not like someone not like a Economos, right? Or Adrian, where they'd be like immediately on alert and try to attack. I did have the thought that it was smart. They even mentioned like, oh, I've never seen you wear black before. And she like, in our universe, constantly wearing all black.
Oh yeah.
So it was kind of cool that that's a way they can differentiate between the two characters.
Well, I mean, that was such a stark difference. I mean, watching the recap and seeing that like really like silky bright orange that she was wearing when they go in for that kiss at the end.
Oh yeah.
That's something our Harcourt would never wear.
No, you're so right.
So yeah, that's a stark difference. And his line about pants, right? Just like, or pants. Like
totally. It was kind of fun though that we got them like driving together, and it's kind of sweet. You kind of get to see like Keith's perspective on being a sibling, because otherwise we never would have gotten that like in any universe.
Yeah.
Or never would have gotten that like at any time in our universe, because they were still kids, right? And as I mentioned previous, they are going to her work and the dog freaks out because of the cocaine on her.
Yeah, real quick, I love the little plantings that they have about just how the other universe is different. I think those things are cute and fun. The one line that I loved in this car ride was him talking about the band Halloween, which is an actual band I looked up, but then he was comparing them to the Beatles, which I was laughing about. And he's like, yeah, Mick, John, Paul, and Ringo.
Right.
And we were like, wait, what? And she was like, what? And he's like, Mick Jagger, the lead singer of the Beatles. And we were like,
Yeah, I'm with you. That was just a funny, like, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there is a Netflix show called Inside Job. And there is an episode similar to that where there was like the way they knew they were in another universe was because of just very slight differences. Like Sinbad playing a version of Aladdin when it was actually like something like that never happened, but everyone thinks that it did. Like, I don't know. It reminded me of that though. Just like the little
that's funny.
things.
Where like it could be a thing, but you're pretty sure it's not.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, you mentioned like, yeah, the cocaine was like a bit of a planting, and Dog starts freaking out, and of course the security office gets all freaked out, and Keith is weirded out by the entire situation, especially her bringing his dead mom's snow globe.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, she's like starting to be escorted away, and during all this, we saw Peacemaker, starting to head to work after having like a nice one of those like really brightly lit, loving couple mornings.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And I, as he's driving over there, I was like, ooh, I sense a conflict, right? And he walks in right as she's walking back, and that like cold,
realization,
dead look that she gives him. Well, like that realization on his face, of
right,
course.
right. I see what you're saying. Sorry,
and then she turns back and like not a care given. Like it was so like devastating almost. Because I figured she would have like, oh, it's him or anything, but it was like almost like back to square one, like they are in this universe. She's just fed up.
Totally. And they have a really good confrontation where Peacemaker's kind of pouring out his heart and soul, and in return, Harcourt actually does pour out her heart and soul. And it's kind of clear from an outside perspective, but it's powerful to hear her say it, that she is just deeply like, does not like who she is, and kind of feels like she needs that important job to feel important. And we'll see if that changes over the course of the season, if she can learn to love herself for who she is, right?
But, oh yeah, I mean, this is one of the first times we've seen her really dig into like an emotional side of herself. She's typically been just more hardcore.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the first moments that I've been like, I would not ever call her a bad actress, but really been blown away by Jennifer Holland.
Oh yeah. I'm with you there. Like, she plays the role she needs to really well, but we got to see her flex some acting skills in this episode for sure.
It was excellent. Yeah, great scene. You make great points. It's clear that there's more for her there. Peacemaker's not dead to her per se, but she's got a lot going on, and this is not something she wants to have to deal with right now.
Totally. I mean, when he brought up the boat again, you could tell she was just over. She's like, you're still on this kind of attitude.
Yeah, she was not having it, and, left in a huff again. Yeah, things are not great still between them. We really thought, maybe there was more, and she's kind of reluctantly coming to rescue him, but it's clear it's not out of like some, hidden love or anything like that. Like, he's a friend.
For sure.
But yeah. During all this, we get the B story of Vigilante finding himself.
And you said it yourself when we were watching it. The best thing ever, that he is like just as excited as our Vigilante. Like, oh yeah. So glad he's not just like really serious and dark. Like, he's so fun.
Because that could also play off each other. But totally. Like him like laughing and losing his mind at all the dumb little differences as he like walks through the house.
Yeah.
And finding himself, and himself is like, what are you doing? Like, like just scary and gruff. And as soon as he reveals it with his like crazy, goofy, silly, over the top attitude, he throws it right back at him. And it's just like, what? No way.
Totally. Oh my gosh. So they're like, we're doing the Spider-Man thing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And yeah, you showed me DC posted it on their official Instagram accounts, a remade version of that meme.
Was so good.
Most excellent. And then we just get this great little montage of them just asking each other dumb questions and having the exact same answer.
Totally.
All the way up until he asks about Peacemaker.
Yeah, like this new universe's Vigilante hates Peacemaker. He calls him his arch nemesis, which is a hilarious turnaround, right? And he says that, like, oh, that's why I joined the Sons of Liberty. And I was like, why does that sound familiar? I looked it up. It's because that's what, like, George Washington and the gang were called, like, back when they were, like, fighting the the British.
Yeah.
But I wonder if he's like, yeah, Peacemaker goes against everything I stand for. Now we get to the big reveal of the episode, which is, and this is one of the things that my wife predicted, that this universe is like a white supremacist world.
Yeah.
And they see Adebayo walking on the street and they freak out. And they are like chasing after her like Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know what I mean? Like,
which is like kind of scary, but did make for like that comedic moment where, yeah, like Raiders of the Lost Ark, even like that Jack Sparrow running on the beach.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Just an absolute mob after this single person. And like the tones behind that are like terrifying and kind of dark, but it's
the music behind it.
Yeah, totally.
And like, yeah, the fact that they'll end up okay, I think is like,
for sure. And editing super tight on this, always with the big reveal. You have all the side stories like coming into one.
Hardcore literally says like, I haven't seen anyone of color here, and then it cuts right to, the explosion of, conflict with Adebayo.
And they're panning in on this flag on the desk, and they're hiding the 50 stars. And I'm like, obviously there's going to be something different there. I'm thinking through all the iterations of America's flag. Are we going to get like the circle with the stars? Are we going to get like a Confederate sort of turnaround? And I was not expecting the Nazi symbol.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But it does make sense now why the white dragon, like, he didn't really change his ways, it sounds like. Sounds like he just got his ideal version. Yeah.
But no, yeah, like he is very much himself. His sons are super with him, and the world is like precisely that. So I think my question about whether he was like, just a piece of garbage father kind of works in both. I guess father isn't the right word. Piece of garbage human works in both universes. He's just a better father because he doesn't have all this Keith stuff to blame on Peacemaker.
Yeah. Kind of crazy.
But yeah, insane reveal. Which part of me is a little disappointed about.
Okay.
Just because that is the trope. In another dimension, too good to be true kind of vibes. Something over the top is, going wrong, but they don't see it until a certain point. It just feels like a bit of a trope. So I think going forward, what I'm hoping for is a twist on that of some sorts. They got to this a lot quicker than I was expecting, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking there'd be more time in this universe or something. Great reveal. I love how it was done. I'm hoping for a little bit more, and seeing James Gunn's track record, I am optimistic about that.
For sure. And there's other like side things happening. Like, okay, my best guess is that this new universe's vigilante is like, my guess is that the trio, right? White Dragon, Keith, and Peacemaker, like, followed their dad's lead in his crazy white supremacist goals. And that is why there is this group called the Sons of Liberty trying to fight against that. That's my best guess. But we also got the other plots of Economos getting tackled by Peacemaker's dad.
That was a crazy bit where he's trying to crawl away and he like nails him with like a beer.
Yeah.
And then stabs him in the hand, and Economos gives it all up immediately.
Yeah, so now he knows, which is crazy. And then also you have Harcourt getting caught by the nice Harcourt.
Yeah, like the final shot of the episode where they're just like, get her, she's an imposter. So yeah, we get essentially like the whole gang is kind of screwed. Vigilante, we're not sure if he's like screwed. He's maybe just at a disagreement, which might shatter his world. Obviously, Adebayo's in a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Harcourt is in a lot of trouble. Economos is in a ton of trouble. It's not looking good. Great cliffhanger. But yeah, I'm curious how they're going to resolve all these side plots. And the other side plot that I was not expecting, Frank Grillo, Rick Flag Sr., decides to go to Belle Reve Prison. And
this is the other thing my wife predicted, dude.
I wasn't expecting that because I was like, maybe some like that's where they keep the mutants or the metahumans. Suicide Squad feels like, what are we doing here? She literally was like, Yeah, that's where they took Lex Luthor at the end of Superman. And I was like, okay, you're right, but like they wouldn't do that.
Right.
They wouldn't do that. That's way too soon. It's Nicholas Holt. It's Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
They absolutely did
That
that.
was crazy. And it totally ties in and it works well.
Yes, it does. Fun reveal. And once again, big fan of his rendition of Lex Luthor. So I love that we're getting more of that.
Totally.
So yeah, he just starts bartering with him, which means that Rick Flag is not out of the game yet. Obviously, he can find this device, which, as we are aware of right now, is still open, supposedly, in Vigilante's house. So hypothetically, Rick Flag and the gang could just find them, though along with Judo Master, we are unsure as to whether they could locate the actual universe. But it is seeming likely that Peacemaker and the gang are going to want to dip ASAP as possible.
Yeah, I do wonder if Rick Flag Sr. will ever make it to the new dimension.
It would be fun. And once again, I would love that, like,
he sees his son.
Yeah. I feel like that could be a great moment, however they tie that in, if possible. Yeah.
Sorry. It ties in so well. We can go back to talking about Peacemaker in a second. But with Lex Luthor pulling up, there's been some recent developments on Superman Man of Tomorrow. Have you heard about these?
I've not.
So we obviously knew that was happening. That was coming out. What was it? 2027 was the idea?
Yep.
Well, James Gunn posted on his Instagram a picture of the first draft of the script. And on the front, it kind of has like an anatomical, like head of a human with a brain. So everyone's like, it's Brainiac.
Obviously.
Which would be really cool. And then on top of that, it's guessed that like Lex Luthor and Superman would team up against Brainiac because that other like concept art that went with the announcement that we had discussed
the
earlier.
Back kind of.
Exactly. And on top of that, this is kind of the big thing. He was asked, I don't know if he was prompted to say this. He probably was asked a certain question, but James Gunn said that The Man of Tomorrow is not a direct sequel, nor is it explicitly quote unquote Superman 2. He says it is the next installment of the Superman saga. So my thought here is, and this is not like a wholly original thought, but this is kind of like a soft Justice League. I don't know. I don't want to say that. That might be a bit too much, but kind of this, you have Superman, you'll have Lex Luthor, and then in between that, you could have Supergirl and Lobo team up with them against Brainiac. He could kind of be, as we discussed, like a soft big bad before they decide to go full dark side.
Yeah. He would make a great, like, beginner villain, a sort of, Loki and Ultron.
Totally.
Yeah. Wow. That's
a lot.
That's a lot. Well, and I mean, the idea of it not being like a Superman 2, that even like begs the question, is there like a Superman Returns type of time jump that we're talking about?
I don't know. I'm sure we'll get like an update and a time jump, if any, in Supergirl. Because like it would be, I don't know. I would be surprised if we didn't like get like even a cameo of Superman.
Right.
But Brainiac in the Superman Man of Tomorrow, I could see there being a time jump. I could see Peacemaker kind of laying the foundation of Lex Luthor getting on the good graces of the government to be let out.
Fair enough. Well, at the very least, like being once again like vaguely partnered with the government. That's what
exactly
Lex Senior said, and I don't know what that means per se, but evidently Lex Luthor has gotten back a bit of that social capital, that power that he so desperately wants.
Yeah. So
I would love to see a live action Brainiac.
That'd be cool. They could do it a lot of ways.
There have been so many renditions.
I personally hope, while I have loved versions of him being a robot, I would like it if he did kind of have like the green head, like an actual like alien looking thing. I don't know. That's my personal preference. But if they decide to go the robot route, I can live with that.
Ultron was a mighty scary villain.
Exactly. Like, it can be done.
Personally, I'm hoping for the Superman Unbound Brainiac, who's just an absolute meathead.
Totally. Yeah, I can like match Superman in a fist fight. Jeez, yeah, that was something else.
I had so much fun watching that.
That was a good time. I mean, we were giggling at some of the artistic choices, but story was solid.
Worth a watch for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, some intensely exciting cliffhangers at the end of this episode. I'm very much looking forward to how they're ending this. We came off a bit of a disappointment a few days ago. We finished the last episode in the new season of the Alien show that they've come out with.
Yeah.
And it's a great show. It's a lot of fun to watch, but they end on a major cliffhanger, and it's like, just wait for season 2, I guess. And
yeah, we were pretty expecting sad. That. Yeah, we were kind of like, we weren't keeping track of how many episodes they were going to be. So we kind of watched this one with the mindset of there's going to be another episode. I feel like I would have approached it differently if I knew it was the last one.
For sure. So I would love for Peacemaker to kind of maintain what they did in season 1, where it's like a soft setup for another season if they want.
But it's a full round.
A bit of a wrap up. Yeah.
I'm sure it will be. I'd be surprised. I mean, like you said, a really smart TV show will have a full arc in a season, but do leave enough questions that audiences would want to come back for another one.
Right. Not that I would call it poor taste on Alien's part. I might just be a little salty afterwards. But I feel like too many questions is almost a bit of a turnoff, where it's just like, how do you even start the next season, right? Like, it's just... Anyways, fun show. Very excited for season 2.
I would recommend, for sure.
But back to Peacemaker. Crazy cliffhangers, and very excited for episode 7.
For sure.